If you have a low score in Express Entry and so far have not been successful in immigrating to Canada, now might be your time to succeed, especially if your occupation is one of the 82 occupations I'm going to share in this video. The reason for this is a big change that has been done today in Canada's Express Entry immigration system. So in this video, I'll share 3 quick things. What is the change? Why is this great news for a lot of people? And most importantly, what should you do to capture this opportunity? If this is your first time here, my name is Rashid Ali. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant from Canada. I share videos on Canadian immigration, visas, and citizenship in this channel. None of the information shared is legal advice. If you do need legal advice, we can book a consultation so you know the way forward and save your time, energy, and money. I usually share videos on every Sunday at 9 a.m. Canada Eastern Time, but this one I had to share with you as soon as possible. It's time to take action. So let's get straight to the point. Express Entry system has undergone a change which is category based draws, or in other words, Canadian government will be selecting certain professionals based on their occupations and language skills and then invite them to apply for PR. This is somewhat similar to Australia's system with their subclass 189 category. I'm not an expert in Australian immigration, but I just study it from time to time. In their system, they invite people for PR based on their occupations. So they will only invite certain occupations. Their system is not open for everyone. From now, in Canada's category-based draws, invitations will be sent out to 82 occupations. So if you have at least 6 months of experience in the past 3 years in one of these 82 occupations that we'll talk about today, you may be successful. 6 months is the minimum experience required to be eligible for these categories. You still need to be eligible for one of the Express Entry programs, for example, the Federal Skilled Worker Program or Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Trades, and you need to meet the eligibility requirement for Express Entry. For example, for Federal Skilled Worker Program, you still need 1 year of skilled work experience in the last 10 years. You still need 67 out of 100 points in the eligibility scale for FSW. So if you're someone fresh out of college and you only have 6 months of experience, you won't be eligible for these category-based draws. So you still need to qualify for Express Entry. You still need at least 1 year of work experience. So don't be confused by this 6 months thing. You still need to qualify for Express Entry. You still need to qualify for one of these 3 programs. So basically, you need to be in the Express Entry pool as a candidate. But if your occupation matches one of these 82 occupations, your chances will be much higher. So how is this change different from the current situation? If you're not aware, currently Express Entry has 2 main types of invitation rounds. A general round of invitations for Federal Skilled Worker, Federal Skilled Trades, and Canadian Experience Class applicants. And the second type was program-specific round of invites. For example, a round where only PNP candidates or only CEC candidates or Federal Skilled Trade candidates were invited to apply. So these 2 types of invitations will still be around, but a new category-based rounds of invitations will start from this summer, which probably means any time in June. Now, the second question is, why will this category-based invitations for PR be helpful for certain professionals? That's because what this means is that the particular round of invites will not be open to all candidates. It will only be for those who fall under the category, which means that there will be less competition and the minimum score required to receive an invitation for PR will drop. How much can it drop? That will depend on the number of people who have an Express Entry profile that fits that category and the number of invitations that the government chooses to send out. Again, comparing Australia's system, since they already have occupation-specific draws, their accountants, engineers, architects need a much higher score to receive an ITA compared to, let's say, an optometrist or general practitioner, chiropractor, or a welder, because there are fewer of these applicants in the pool. Less competition. So it will depend on how many people with the same occupation as you are in the Express Entry pool. So this is great news for professionals who have lower scores or relatively lower scores, but who fall under one of these categories or one of these 82 occupations that we will look at just now. So the 6 categories chosen for this year are French language proficiency. So if you have a minimum score of 7 in all 4 language abilities in the French test, if you have good language skills, it can be really helpful not only for Express Entry for these category specific round of invites, but for certain other provinces too. If you don't know French, maybe it's time to start learning, and there are some free apps available like Duolingo. The second category is healthcare occupations. 35 occupations that you can see on the screen have been chosen. Some of these occupations include psychologists, chiropractors, optometrists, veterinarians, dentists, general practitioners and family physicians, specialists in surgery, registered nurses, etc. The third category is STEM occupations: science, technology, engineering, and math. There are 24 occupations in this category. For my fellow engineers, some of these occupations include engineering managers, civil engineers, electrical, industrial, computer, metallurgical engineers. Now, one key thing to remember is that the occupation is always based on your work experience, not based on your education. For example, if you have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering or chemical engineering, but your work experience was that of an industrial engineer, you should choose that industrial engineer as your occupation in express entry. Your experience letter should also demonstrate the same thing. So even though mechanical engineers are not on the list, some of the mechanical engineers might have worked as industrial engineers, and thus they will qualify for these category specific draws. An example is someone who worked in Lean Six Sigma. That's more industrial engineering rather than mechanical engineering. Same applies to other professionals as well. Other occupations in STEM include architects, data scientists, web designers, software developers, etc. The fourth category is trade occupations. So in the skilled trades, 10 occupations include welders, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, millwrights and industrial mechanics, machine fitters, elevator constructors, and more. The fifth category is transport occupations. This also has 10 occupations, which include managers in transportation, air pilots, flight engineers and flying instructors, transport truck drivers, railway traffic controllers and marine traffic regulators, railway carmen and women, etc. The sixth and final category is agricultural and agri-food occupations. This category only has 3 occupations, which includes butchers, agricultural service contractors and farm supervisors, and contractors and supervisors with experience in landscaping, grounds maintenance and horticulture. Since there are only 3 occupations in this category, I think it's safe to say that the minimum score may be really low for this category specific round of invites. Now, this doesn't mean that they will invite all 82 occupations. They will probably choose different categories for different rounds of invites. So one round of invite might only be for French speakers. The other one could only be for STEM related occupations. So if you're someone who doesn't fall in the above 6 categories or above 82 occupations, should you be worried? Not really, because it does seem that the general round of invites will still be sent out periodically, but there is a good chance that the score for the general round of invites will go up. Also note that we're already in June now, 7 months left in this year, and these 6 categories have been chosen for this year. Next year, the category might change. For example, there may be a specific category for international students in Canada who have studied a particular program. This is just the start. IRCC has mentioned that these invites will start in summer, so I think it can start anywhere from June or July. I will leave official links to IRCC's website in the description so you can read more about this. The third question and topic that I wanted to cover is, what should you do? Now that you have this information, you know what's changing and how it will impact you, what should you do? Again, I'm sharing generic information. If you need specific advice, it's always best to schedule a consultation. But generally speaking, if you have work experience in one of these occupations, create your express entry profile. It's free. Other than the cost of IELTS and ECA, of course, just do it. If you don't have work experience in one of these occupations, try to gain work experience, as these occupations are in high demand. Work in one of these occupations for 6 months and be eligible, especially if you're inside Canada and you're an international student on a postgraduate work permit. Start gaining experience in one of these occupations if you can. But remember, you still need to qualify for Federal Skilled Worker, CEC or Federal Skilled Trades. Another thing is also make your profile for other provinces where applicable. For example, for SINP, you need to make your profile, because as express entry starts inviting people through this category based rounds, more people will be choosing express entry rather than provincial nomination. So the scores of provincial draws might fall and may give you a second chance of being invited from there. If you don't know French, start learning, because if you know French at the required level and your occupation is not in the above list, you may still be invited for PR, because there will be draws focused on those who have good French language ability, because that's one of the categories. In the end, just an observation, I was comparing some of these occupations with an in-demand list for Australia subclass 189, which is kind of their FSW program. They have about 180 occupations in their list. Now Canada has specified 82 in-demand occupations in our list. So some of the occupations that are common in both lists, that is both Australia and Canada, are architects, audiologists, carpenters, chiropractors, civil, electrical and industrial engineers, engineering managers, welders, general practitioners, nurses and plumbers. hours. There are some more occupations too, so you're very fortunate if you have experience in one of these occupations. But overall, if you have experience in these 82 occupations, especially if you are in one of the skilled trades or healthcare related occupations, because there will be lesser competition in these fields, because there are plenty of engineers out there, but you'll see much less healthcare professionals and skilled trade professionals who meet the criteria for express entry, who have English or French scores at the desired level, for example. So that's it for now. If you'd like to discuss your case and how to move forward, we can book a consultation. I'll leave a link in the description. If you'd like to stay informed about updates and changes by joining my mailing list, I'll leave a link in the description also, or just send an email to info@pcici.ca. Thank you so much.